It already happened. You knew it happened, then you made the fight anyway. So now, based on something you already knew happened, now you're just saying, oh, no, because this happened, we're not going to do the fight. But you knew already in the first place.
Yes, the history was already there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And for this particular situation, by the way, mind you, the girl now is coming with a civil suit.
Yes.
She probably saw that he signed the Jake Paul fight.
Problem that I have, I think police did what they were supposed to do. They came in, they came through the door, they arrested him. He's bonded out since. The problem that I have is that there's this thing that we're dealing with right now that's called mental issue.
Rumor of Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia fighting on Netflix to replace Hey Davis, Jake Paul. If you guys haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet. But that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen.
Shannon Sharpe didn't hold back for a single second after hearing about Gervonta Davis's arrest. He spoke with pure conviction, not just as a commentator, but as a man demanding accountability. Sharpe made it crystal clear that the victim in this situation deserves genuine care, counseling, and justice, not excuses wrapped in sympathy. He warned that dismissing this case as just a mental health issue is nothing but a lazy way of ignoring the real pain and trauma inflicted on others. In his words, real growth starts with responsibility, not denial. Shannon didn't sugarcoat it. He called out Tank directly, saying that this one reckless act might have completely destroyed everything he worked for. A career built on sweat and power could now crumble because of one uncontrollable decision.
Protector is the abuser. You lose a sense of protection of what you think a protector should do, because you're supposed to protect me from this. If someone is trying to do this to me, you're supposed to jump in and be my superhero. You're not supposed to commit this act against me.
Jake Paul came out swinging on X, and his words cut deep. His reaction wasn't just emotional, it was explosive. He described his experience working with Gervonta Davis as a nightmare filled with chaos, delays, bizarre demands, and pure disrespect. Jake didn't hold back. He called Davis a walking human disaster, making it clear that this man's behavior has crossed every line of professionalism. In his post, Jake wrote, "If you support this man, you support the most vile sin a man can commit." He publicly apologized to his own team, to the fighters on the undercard, and to every person who sacrificed time and energy to make this fight possible. He said he never wanted to give a platform to someone who disrespects women and glorifies violence. Jake's post went viral instantly. Fans and analysts exploded with reactions, some praising his honesty while others accused him of being dramatic. Meanwhile, with Gervonta out of the picture, Jake's camp started hunting for a new opponent to save the Netflix event. Big names were mentioned, including former UFC champion Francis Ngannou. But Ngannou wasted no time shutting that idea down. Calling the offer disrespectful, he made it clear that he's chasing real boxing greatness, not social media fights for clicks.
Gervonta Davis, we had to go right to the source. What can you tell us? Is there any possibility that Francis Ngannou will step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul?
No, there's not. There's no such of thing happening. Basically, like how can they go from like Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Like, I mean, Gervonta Davis is a fantastic boxer, but and is a one-shot knockout artist. But come on, like the weight different and everything, it make no sense. You know, the Gervonta Davis, you count, you say, okay, the size different can level up. But at this point, for me to, it make no sense.
Francis Ngannou addressed the rumors head-on with absolute class. He said he would never step into a ring just to be part of a publicity stunt. After fighting elite-level athletes like Tyson Fury, felt that facing a YouTuber-turned-boxer would insult his craft and legacy. His words carried weight. He reminded the world that fighting is not entertainment for views. It's a discipline that demands respect. Ngannou emphasized that athletes need to protect the integrity of their sport instead of turning it into a circus. Fans admired his honesty, praising him for standing on principle instead of chasing quick money. It was a moment that reminded everyone what true professionalism and self-worth look like in a world obsessed with attention.
No. And he said, yeah, Jake Paul, you know, he's fighting. And I'm like, no, bro, come on, don't. don't, I mean, don't disrespect me like that. And then they even say like, even come out after and say, and what if the number are good? He sent out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started talk. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. He make no sense for me. It's not my what I'm looking at right now.
So there is no dollar amount. It's more the opponent. The fight makes no sense. They could offer you $100 million and you wouldn't be interested.
The fight made no sense. That's what I think. That's my my position. And though I went back, I still,
Now, with Gervonta Davis officially out of the picture, Jake Paul faces a serious challenge finding someone worthy enough to keep fans invested. Ryan Garcia's name popped up almost immediately, and fans went crazy at the idea. But reality hit fast. Garcia's locked under Golden Boy Promotions, while Jake operates under his own Most Valuable Promotions deal with Netflix. Those two worlds don't mix, Isley. Conflicting contracts and broadcast rights make that matchup nearly impossible. And to make things tougher, Garcia's team reportedly has zero interest in joining a Netflix production. That left Jake and his crew scrambling for a big name, someone who could carry the weight of a main event. But the fight game isn't full of easy options, and right now, the list of available stars who can step in is painfully short.
If that is the route they're going, then it kind of dissuades what I thought may happen, which was this rumor of Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia fighting on Netflix to replace Gervonta Davis. Jake Paul, if you guys haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know. And the rumor was one of the replacements was talked about and even offered to Ryan Garcia. Well, here is Ryan Garcia's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, speaking on that rumor and what's next for Ryan.
Happy Saturday. So I wake up to calls from reporters asking me about Jake Paul and Ryan Garcia. Let me just tell you why this fight is not going to happen. Ryan Garcia fights for dazn, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with dazn. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business. You know, Ryan Garcia's probably going to rant saying, oh, you're keeping me from making money and this and that and fighting. No, you have to go by the law, by the rules. You have a contract with dazn. You have a contract with Golden Boy. It just doesn't happen that way. So anyway, until next time, we'll see you Saturday for Virgil Ortiz. But again, Ryan Garcia's next fight will be announced by me, who he's fighting, and when he's fighting next. See you guys.
It always seems like when Oscar decides to address something with Ryan Garcia, that he's not only addressing us, the people, that he's addressing Ryan Garcia. He's like, through us, telling Ryan, no, you're not fighting Jake Paul, no matter how much you want to fight. That's what it seems like, is like, no matter how much you want to fight Jake Paul, you're not fighting him. I don't even think that was meant for us. I think that was him telling Ryan. And you even hear it there. He's like, oh, Ryan's going to say, I'm keeping him from making money or whatever. But in this case, Oscar is right. If Ryan is signed to Golden Boy and Golden Boy is exclusively signed to dazn for, fight rights, then Ryan has to fight on dazn. I think that's pretty reasonable for Oscar. I didn't know that Golden Boy was exclusive to dazn. I didn't know that was a thing. But if that is the thing, then yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
On the Ariel Helwani show, the analysts tore into the situation with brutal honesty. They said this new lawsuit has wrecked Gervonta Davis's reputation beyond repair. Coming just 2 months after another legal issue, this latest case painted a clear pattern of trouble. Helwani and his panel didn't hold back. They said it's not just about bad publicity. It's about repeated behavior that shows no growth or accountability. These issues have tainted his name, hurt his relationships, and pushed the Netflix fight to the edge of collapse. Sources revealed that Netflix doesn't want its first major boxing event tied to a fighter facing serious civil accusations. And now, Jake Paul has no choice but to act fast, find a replacement, save the show, and keep the dream alive before it all falls apart.
Aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Lawsuit comes 2 months after Davis's previous domestic violence case was dropped by a different ex-girlfriend and the mother of 2 of the boxer's 3 children. I just think MVP is in the business of being the home of women, right? At this point, like that's a huge part of their identity. What is their identity? It's Jake Paul and women's boxing. That's their identity right now. And they've done a phenomenal job for the women. And so how, with these allegations lingering and now coming to light 2 weeks before, how can you go through with it? And it sounds like they feel the same way. It's an impossible spot to be in.
The only part I'd say is like, you kind of know who this guy is ahead of time. Like this is not exactly a shocking revelation. Like Tank Davis is, this is not the first rodeo. But I do think it's too close to the fight to really be, messing around here. Like you got to figure out a new solution.
And so there's been multiple reports regarding people that they've reached out to. Names like Ryan Garcia have been brought up. Terrence Crawford has been brought up. Francis Ngannou has been brought up. And Francis Ngannou spoke to TMZ today, and he did confirm that he was contacted. And the quote was, "How can they go from Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? It makes no sense." He was like, quote, "We think about you to fight Jake." I'm like, what? Which Jake? Bro, come on, don't disrespect me like that.
What the fuck is that?
That might have been the most timely "what the F is that" of all time. What do you guys think about that stance from Francis? Because actually, there's a part of me that thinks, take the fight, you knock him out, you'll be like 65 pounds bigger than him, and it's a nice little feather in your cap.
I think that was a great backup solution. I think Francis versus Jake is a great fight.
If it goes all
Compelling,
according to
too.
plan, like he should theoretically get paid a bunch of money, knock out Jake Paul, and make off like a bandit. There is always the world where it goes awry. If he were to drop the fight to Jake Paul, that would
Right,
be
but I mean, you
close.
can literally say that about any fight. Are you just saying that the risk is greater than the reward?
I don't think so.
In my eyes, losing to Jake Paul is worse than losing to Anthony Joshua.
Chael Sonnen stepped into the debate with his signature boldness. He questioned why Jake Paul and the media were reacting so aggressively to an ongoing case. In Sonnen's view, Gervonta hasn't been proven guilty, so pulling the plug this early looks like overreaction. He reminded everyone that boxing history is full of fighters who've had legal drama, and yet the show always went on. Chael even hinted that Jake might be using the scandal as a convenient excuse to avoid one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. His take set social media on fire. Some agreed, saying the fight should have continued until proven otherwise, while others defended Jake and Netflix, saying protecting your image matters more than hype. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and every opinion is fueling the flames even more.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in. I want to say it was like 8 pounds.